Hello again, and welcome to the Wide World of Wargaming, Age of Sigmar podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Alex, John, Jeremy, and Garrett. We are going to be talking about the COVID weekend tournament round 2, which was an event that was done all on Tabletop Simulator, run by our illustrious Garrett. Garrett's at least coming down on this side of me. It's probably not going to end up showing that way. Nope. But we're going to talk a little bit about how he's run that and why it's the second one and not just the first one. And we're going to talk a little bit about the procedure and, of course, how the event went. We'll also be talking about a few other things here and there. But as always, John, what's on your workbench? Or John, what's on your workbench?
Decide to have John be last.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I don't have much going on my workbench this week. It's been 2 weeks since we were on, including a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend that we all got to enjoy. I don't know about you guys, but I drank much beer over the weekend, a rarity for me. Bought a 12-pack of Stellas. It was delightful. And I had said to our audience that I was going to finish my Primaris Marines by the 1st. And as you can see in front of you, I did get them all built. So everything's built. And I got at least the black on these guys, but I didn't quite finish. So we'll have to give me another week or two. But nonetheless, certainly before I compete in my next tournament for 40K, these guys will be ready to go. So I'm right at the crust, right there, almost ready. So that's the main thing that I had going on. Went over to a buddy's house actually, and helped him set up some live streaming stuff. And he and I are probably going to get some 40K on certainly as soon as the rules drop. And then, guys, I don't know about you, but I like to do an occasional Kickstarter. I maybe do 3 or 4 a year, maybe that many, sometimes less. But I consistently support Lady Death. So I'm a big fan of Lady Death. I've loved the comics and the figures since the mid-90s when I started collecting them. And so it was cool. I'm on 2 Kickstarters right now. One is Dungeons and Lasers, which is a bunch of fantasy terrain. And I'm picturing doing kind of like what is that in 40K where they're in the where they're fighting in the hallways and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Something Imperialis, right?
Zone Mortalis.
Yeah.
Zone Mortalis.
Zone
Yeah.
Mortalis. So I'm thinking like Age of Sigmar, maybe some small games, but I've bought enough stuff to basically make a maze board. So we'll see how it plays. It'll be something I'll do it with my friends at my house. So that's shipping to me right now. And then as the super bonus, as I mentioned, my Lady Death Kickstarter came in for the latest Lady Death comic. So I got my fine new Lady Death shirt on. And probably by next week, I'll have framed my print. I got a great print of Lady Death sitting on a big whiskey barrel. So I'm looking forward to getting that going again. Obviously, that will be the perfect thing to hang over in my bar area. Maybe I'll replace the red dog up there. That dog right there. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, not a whole lot going on. A whole lot of not Age of Sigmar going on. As we all know, there was lots of interesting 40K stuff that may get mentioned at some point in the show. But being that we are a massive Age of Sigmar podcast, we don't care about that 40K chump game. You know what? They can make it as much like Age of Sigmar as they want, and it still won't be as fun as Age of Sigmar. Because as much as Age of Sigmar is a great rule set that promotes fun and tactical gameplay, it is ultimately the community. And you know what? We in Age of Sigmar, I believe, have the best, most gentlemanly, above-the-table gaming community to be found anywhere in the world. That's right. Play it for me, unless you're smoking a bowl there. You know, you're playing a violin, smoking a bowl. I wasn't sure what you were doing, Alex. Either one, I think it's how you should celebrate the awesome community that we have in Age of Sigmar. Anyways, that's what's going on my workbench. Like I said, nothing.
Yeah.
Garrett, what the hell you been up to, man? I see you got some new headset on. That looks pretty tight.
Yeah. So I got really tired of my corded headset. They actually started fraying because I spin in my chair a lot. I don't know if anyone has ever noticed that I spin in my chair a lot. I like to lean back and then just like drift to the side, which doesn't really help. But that doesn't really help with my cords not getting tangled and the cords getting a little frayed. I had that old set for like years and years, and I decided to finally just get Bluetooth headsets. Sitting here with some nice Bluetooth headset. So happy with them. But on my workbench, so this last week I ran an Age of Sigmar tournament. We'll talk more about it later, but we've been gone for 2 weeks, as John said, but the tournament actually started on Memorial Day and went for a whole week. So I spent a lot of my week doing admin and just getting people to schedule their games and stuff like that. But I have also been doing some hobby stuff. I've talked about this in the past, but I've started working on my display board, which is my Frontline gaming tray. And I have glued on some circles here for trees, which are magnetized. Nice. So the tray was still flat. I'll have some 3 dimensions to it when it's a display board. And then so I've been working on spackling the tray itself so I can then start texturing it. And so these were like rings that I just needed to smooth them down and use the spackle to kind of create a more natural surface to it. So I just got to clean this up a bit more. And then once the spackle is basically dry now, the trees are fully magnetized in, so they can go in and out. Nice. These are the trees I actually used for my Sylvaneth Wildwoods, the old ones that I have. So I already magnetized them anyways to make them easier to transport. So they'll actually be used. So these trees will be used while playing my Sylvaneth army. So they're part of my display board and part of my army. And then, so I've been working on that. I just need to get the spackle cleaned up so I can actually build the board. There's some areas where the spackle bled over, so the sections are a little too tight.
Is the spackle just to create like a smooth surface that raises it up to the level of where the tree ring is? Yeah, exactly. It not only a smooth surface, it also creates kind of like a groundy texture to it in many areas. Yeah, so I purposely didn't make it smooth. So that means I can just start because it's just going to be like a foresty ground. I'm going to put some sand on it, but it helps create some texture. Right. Yeah, you don't want huge rolling hills where your model starts sliding, but at the same time, just a little bit of texture will. Yeah, just kind of like some bumps and things like that. I think it'll be easier to paint than the wood itself, probably. So yeah, but the main thing is the rings are basically just protruding plastic circles that were like 1/8 of an inch tall or 1/4 inch tall or something like that. So I needed to create something that'll level it all out and then create the texture on the board. So how are you going to incorporate alcohol into this one? Because good friend James did have his Fountain of Youth. Do you have any ideas or thoughts on what you're going to do? This one will probably not have any alcohol. I mean, I guess you could have. And what's the point? You could have maybe some magnetic shot glasses just inside each of these rings. Yeah, we got just put each tree is a flask. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Except each tree is literally a hidden pocket of something.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I guess I have cup holders on my display board where the trees are removed.
This would be complex, but what you could do is, do you want to have what kind of Sylvaneth army is this? What's the realm?
It's a realm of death, actually.
Okay.
Realm of brewing.
Okay. I have an idea for you.
Oh God.
Yeah. So here's my Sylvaneth paint scheme that my buddy Matt Barker painted for me.
Wait, that's
nice. We all know Matt. For all those who are at LVO or on events in the West Coast, he has a very fun Nurgle army. It is very tree-like. His Glotkin, for example, has trees and roots just coming out the back of it. And it's a very awesome looking army.
I was going to make a joke. Is that American walnut, Durfu?
Hey, American chestnut. He painted it like a chestnut.
He's also a professional arborist too. So that just adds
he based my my scheme off of winter in New England birch trees.
Nice.
That's cute. I was going to say what he should do is he should be able to, oh, no, you should be able to, if you want, maybe either have large tree stumps that have been cut by something that you're avenging, and it's actually a shot glass, or have modular, shyish looking giant mushrooms, which are really a bottle cap and a shot glass.
There you go.
Or you can buy me a bottle of scotch.
Alex, you just gave me an actual idea that I might use. Make Jello shots, but just form them to look like mushrooms. Literally just let them sit out like their decoration on the board, and you just walk up and grab them and eat them.
But how would you get the structure for the cap in it? You would have to put like a butt ton of tap.
If anyone can figure it out, John will figure it out.
If anyone can figure it out, John will be able to figure it out. I agree.
Gummy bears exist. This can happen.
I'm going to be really...
So gummies and... yeah.
You're going to get plastered on the first round because you just had to eat all those things before...
No, well, he's not going to be eating them. Hello, fellow wargamer. You're my round one opponent. Do you like gummy bears? I soaked these in vodka last night.
No worries, they're not hallucinogenic unless you want them to be.
Do you want the red mushroom, the blue mushroom, or the special green mushroom?
Straight up, you could ask them that to start the game. It's like, this is going to depend on what kind of game we have.
I call this the Mad Cap, the Loon Cap, and the Gorka.
John, you need to play a Gloom.
supportive.
You need to play a Gloomspite Gits army now and have
it could happen. It's all set.
Oh, that is wonderful.
They are
Speaking about
the better AoS armies, I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of alcohol, I just got my delivery of Lost Boy Cider. It's a
logo.
Yeah, it's the Lost Boy. But they're in Old Town Alexandria, actually. It's only like they're about 12 miles away from my house. So they were able to deliver some cider to my house today, and I'm now drinking their hazy hop. It's their hopped dry cider.
Ooh, nice. Does it have a good hoppy flavor to it?
Yeah, I do enjoy hopped ciders because I've realized I don't like barley, which is my problem with beer. But I do like hopped ciders a lot. So yeah, it adds that because cider has like the nice sweet apple taste to it, and then you just throw in some hops to bitter it up a bit, and it creates a nice little balance that I've actually really enjoyed. So yeah, it's not as bitter as like an IPA or something, but it adds just enough for me.
Have you ever had a Creek?
The Creek?
A Creek. It's a type of beer that's like fruit based.
Never heard of it.
I don't think so. I mean, I've had sours.
Yeah, I've had sours, and I've had fruity beers, which are usually gross.
Like look it up one of these days and try one. It's Creeks it's K-R-I-E-K, I believe. That's how they're spelled. They're usually from Belgium. And they're, I think you might like them. They're basically like what would happen if you made a beer, you found a way to make a beer a cider. Effectively, it's what it comes down to.
I mean, that's one of the interesting things I've found about living in Virginia, because Virginia has a history of classic cider making, which is basically apple wine in a way. It's much more like a very white wine, but with an appley taste to it. While in the West, growing up on the West Coast, ciders came from a very beer brewery standpoint. So the actual processes used and the way they taste are very different. And so it's been interesting kind of experiencing that. And so I'm wondering, like, researching what makes a mead versus a beer versus a cider has been interesting, because, like, it's just fermented vegetables, fruit / whatever. All of it is just fermented food. So, like the definitions of what is a beer and a cider are very loose.
Yeah, I found you the wiki page. Creek Lambic is a style Belgian beer made by fermenting lambic with sour morello cherries. Traditionally, I cannot pronounce that German word. From the area around Brussels. So, like, I mean, they make like all types of flavor of Creeks, but like, yeah, it's basically a combination of, as you said, fermenting fruits with other things.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
Hopefully open up a brand new world for you.
Interesting. Yeah, I've heard the term lambic before, but I guess that applies to a variety of beer-like beverages.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Jeremy, what have you been doing the last 2 weeks?
Is this where I wheel myself behind my virtual background because I forgot to
Yes.
Yes. That's my entire workshop, or sorry, I'm gonna say workshop because it's more accurate to what I've been doing. I am remodeling my first floor. I'm removing the hardwood floor.
What?
I actually well, I'm putting new one because fuck the previous owner's hardwood floor. It was trash.
Yeah.
So I am replacing the hardwood floor on my first floor, and also redoing my kitchen island and replacing the hardwood floor there with tiles instead of flooring, because who'd have hell thinks it's good to put wood around water? I don't know, but anyway, that's been on my like workbench kind of. I haven't really done.
Hey, are you going to do something cool, like put a sunroof into the basement so you can like see up through the floor, maybe into the living room or
Ooh,
something?
no, that is far too. Ooh, I don't.
No, because I'm pretty sure the source of Alex's power is the sun, so I must remove it from him. He's Birdman, if you didn't know.
Okay.
He needs me to be in nothing but artificial light in order to.
In fact, I'm not going to compare you to Superman. I
everything.
believe is how
absolutely not.
power. But Birdman.
Birdman. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Not the Attorney at Law one. I'm
talking
really bad at returning this.
based cartoon.
You're talking the old movie from the 80s or something, right?
No, there was a cartoon.
There was a cartoon from the 70s,
called
the 60s, and 70s. Yeah.
And it was like,
one.
It was like a rip-off of Superman for the most part.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, man.
Yeah, it was. That's where the entire like coast to the
Space
old
Ghost, coast to coast.
Space Ghost, coast to coast.
Was like based off all the like kind of like animation samples from that show.
Well, Space Ghost was also a Hanna-Barbera superhero cartoon thing. So
it was like I remember watching that when it was on TV, and it was like one of those multi-mix shows where you get a few short cartoons and different characters kind of mixed in. It was like there were more shows and characters than they would show each week too, so you wouldn't get the same mix every week. Was that, it might have just been like the Hanna-Barbera hour or something like that.
Kind of, but maybe about 12 years ago, they were like modern Adult Swim spin-offs of both. So there was, not only was there Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which is definitely not 12 years old, it's way older than that, but then there was Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which was Birdman from that series basically being a lawyer.
That's
but
great.
that was brand new animation.
It was brand new animation, and like all the characters were Hanna-Barbera characters, so they just had like random.
Mantalk the Mind Taker was.
Mantalk the Mind Taker, which Mind Taker miniatures.
Yeah,
our good friend Eben has a third-party,
which I think was voiced by Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah. Mantalk the Mind Taker was voiced by. Amazing. Fucking, for any like any Gen Z kids are like, what the hell are these old people talking about? Anyway,
Gen Z, what the hell is that?
No, after
is that the tail end of Gen X? It was like one year of Gen Z.
So millennials were supposed to be called Gen Y because there's Gen X, but then Gen Y didn't stick, so it became millennials. That's what stuck. And so after millennials is the Gen Zs. So there goes Gen X, millennials, Gen Z.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like 96 and 96.
So Gen Z are like all the people doing the TikToks and the whatnots and the whatever.
Whatnots, yes, the whatnots. Dip away, damn whippersnappers.
Whippersnappers.
Those damn hooligans.
How dare they take to the streets nowadays? But no, that's been my workbench. It's basically been remodeling my house. It's my big giant Warhammer army. No, I'm looking forward to getting out of this quarantine and actually getting some game, because TTS is just not for me.
No,
I need to see the tears and the fear from my opponent's eyes. I think I've already said this many times over the show, but I require a sacrifice as I play on the table.
Yeah, I hear you. I did finally play a full game of TTS myself, or Age of Sigmar in TTS. That was fun.
Ooh.
Yeah,
you played against Paul, right?
Yeah, I played Paul McKelvey.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Yeah, actually, we remember we talked to him in the last show 2 weeks ago, and then a couple days after that, he and I got our game in. I think it took us 7 hours to play.
Yeah,
it was
takes
like
a really long time.
It was like we started at 7 or 8 at night, and it was like 3:30 in the morning when we finished.
So you mean I should compare TTS to like going to the DMV? Got it.
Yeah,
kind of.
So we enjoyed ourselves, and it was a really good game. We went all the way to turn 5. You would hope in that many hours, and the score was actually tied going into the last round. and it just became one of those. We kind of talked through the last round, but it came down to a couple dice rolls. Like if he could make a charge here or got this off over here, then he could pull ahead and get the win or get the tie. Otherwise, I was going to get the win. So, and that's what it ended up being.
Can I ask you like a logistical question? How were you able to maintain focus for 7 hours on one game?
We took breaks and went and smoked.
Okay,
bowls.
that explains it. Okay, I'm just curious. I'm like,
wait.
no
You
way
went
in hell.
to go smoke to maintain focus.
Yes.
I know why the game took us 7 hours.
I gotta ask, was it Age of Sigmar or was it 40K?
It was Age of Sigmar. Played Skaven versus Seraphon.
I mean,
Yeah, actually.
Oh no, wait, no, I'm sorry. I played my Nurgle. So I played Nurgle against Seraphon, and I played the menagerie one with all the trees. So I just had trees. I used my first couple rounds of summoning points to summon more trees. So I went ridiculous with it, and so I was just trees everywhere. It was great.
I will say, John, that after that, so I work with Paul. So I was talking to him, and he's like watching Seraphon battle reports online now, and he's like trying to figure out what he did wrong, and like he's seeing how like top tier players play with modern Seraphon now. He's like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. Like I talked to him afterwards.
This is how he does it.
But Paul's actually like he's getting into it after that game. He enjoyed himself a lot.
Yeah, Paul may have been playing one of his first games of Age of Sigmar, not his first, but one of his first. But you can't take away from that caliber of player. Like, it's at the end of the story, this is still a miniatures tactical movement, phase-based game. And so it's really still within his core competency. So, I thought I was going to have to back off the throttle or something a little bit to keep from bashing the poor boy in. But no, we had a good, solid game. It was good.
Well, I'm glad. That sounds good.
Glad you guys evened the playing field by smoking a bunch of bowls together.
Well, Jeremy, we talked about getting a game in just before this chat, and I thought you were talking about TTS since you said that you're not really a big TTS
I can't
person.
do TTS, man.
It'll be interesting to actually hang out with someone since that's not family.
Not your fiance or your family, sure.
Jesus, yeah, or neighbors. We've been doing socially distant like barbecues, or at least we did one like 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know.
Yeah. My neighbors and I have started talking and hanging out a little bit again. They've just I've seen them home as much as me. So literally my whole end of the street, I'm the only one going to work, and I go work in a lab. So it's everywhere you look, people are lightening up.
Yeah. And my current job is basically, I think I might never, if they don't fire me or lay me off, I might never have to go back to the office.
Wow.
Forever. This might be almost permanent.
Yeah, my dad was telling me that like his whole company has realized that like permanently moving forward, they may just have people come in even after all this is over, just come in like once or twice a week for in-person meetings. But it's like, you people can they've proved that working from home can work.
Yeah.
Indefinitely now.
For me, unless I'm actually running a robot or a meeting with a customer, everything else I do can be done from home. In fact, even while I was still sheltered in place, I was doing lots of training and stuff. It's funny. We've all started taking to Zoom like we're doing for our recording, but what we've seen is that across the country, everybody has become sort of socialized to video, and so it's becoming more of a standard for business and everything. So I'm glad that you guys are going to stay home, because what I appreciate is much less traffic as I go to work.
There you go. And when it comes to traffic at work, staying from home, it's always very important. I got to say, on my workbench, I was just out of town for 10 days, and I saw some family, recharged the batteries, helped a friend get out and move back down to California from Oregon, and got to hang out with a lot of people. I was able to confirm that my twin is going to get into wargaming, so we're going to have to figure that one out as a team.
Now I remember a little drunken messaging from Alex during the last days when you convinced your brother to get into wargaming. Was this before or after the two of you polished off a bottle together?
Yeah, I'm still. That's why I'm not drinking tonight. I need a break. It was 10 days of drinking hard. There was one night. Oh,
You're just out of shape, Alex. Come on.
Wow.
I'm talking about drinking, not shape.
Oh, both. I'll be fair, both, but that's not the point here. I mean, it was one of those things. 2 days before his girlfriend came into town, and he had proposed to her, and she said yes.
Oh, wow!
And
cool,
so it was a
cool.
little bit of a double celebration. And then the night Jamie came back from LA, but the night before that, I think the night my brother proposed, we had a bottle of, Red Label. We had a bottle of Red Label, and it was one of the real big ones.
Johnny Walker, for people who don't know.
Johnny Walker Red Label, yes. We had Johnny Walker Red, and we also had blue, but we stuck to the blue a little bit less. We were moderate with the blue, but we had a big old can or bottle of the Johnny Walker Red, and I think we killed a little bit more than a regular bottle's worth because there was barely anything left by the end of it, and we didn't start at the top. It was like half of a bottle, but it was like a gallon-sized Costco bottle. And then the night Jamie came into town, we had bought a regular, tequila. We had bought a nice tequila, and shots were done. After the first round of shots, Jamie was like, "Alex, finish the one that was poured, my second one that was poured for me." I'm like, "Fine." And then my brother's fiance, just without my knowing, she just kept on giving me shots, feeding me shots, and I kept on accepting them. So poo-poo on me, but it is what it is.
Nice. Sounds like a great time, man.
I'm suffering for it now, but yeah, it is. It's one of those things where no booze for a while. Maybe when we get our game in, when I go into the dungeon and get my butt kicked by Jeremy a little later in the week, I might have a drink then. But
I don't know.
I think we're all dry this week. I finished off my iced tea. That's all I was drinking.
Ooh, look
Las
at you.
Vegas Open, but yeah,
I'm
a
not
little iced
dry.
tea. Oh, that's right.
Lost one.
So cider, is that really an alcoholic beverage? If you're only having one.
I'm on my second.
Oh, okay.
It's 6.9%. So
Okay.
I mean, we can only tell when Garrett's truly drunk when he defies the laws of science. So
there you go.
Yeah, wait a second. That's a good point. I know I've been drinking with Garrett many times, but I've never stayed sober enough around Garrett to notice what he's like drunk. He always seems sober to me when I'm around him.
I once was like 18 drinks in, and the bartender went over to my friend and was like, "I know I've given him a shit ton of drinks, but he still seems sober."
Oh, well, my favorite story with that is actually you and your brother both have the same type of reaction when you guys are very, very drunk. And for any of our listeners out there, if you ever see us in an event, you're going to have to double check. As long as it's not LVO, Garrett's not going to be, fully sober, at least semi-sober. So being able to take a peek and see how both Garrett and his brother are drunk is hilarious, because you get a little red. Your brother doesn't even get red. And I remember we went to a wedding in Sacramento once, and I made the round, said hi to a bunch of people. Then I originally was sitting down next to your brother, did my round, sat back down with him, had no idea that he kind of went a little nuts at the free bar or the open bar. And we were having a conversation, and he just kind of stopped, and he kind of leaned in, kind of shuffled and leaned in and just said, "Alex, I'm really fucking drunk right now." And I was like, "How much did you have?" And he just looks at me, and he looks around, and he's like, "Too much." I was like, "You don't look drunk at all." And
that was it? That was all you got?
Well, he proceeds to get up and go to the bathroom, and from there was no shaking. There was no "Oh, damn, that guy's drunk as fuck." He was just there was no indication that he was drunk besides the smell on him. And it was "Oh man, that's dangerous." He's a little sneaky.
Don't take this the bad way, Garrett, but if you ever look for an alternative career in your life, and it's also the time in where you're an alcoholic, I think Fox News is the place for you. Let's just put it
Hey,
that
we
way.
might lose some listeners. Oh boy. But I gotta say, looking into other things on my workbench, it is actually not related to Age of
I quit.
Sigmar. Instead, so we're just not going to do this?
Oh,
sorry. That's just funny. I'm okay. I've got it. I'm under control.
Power through.
Yep. Yes, Alex, you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect.
You guys want me to leave? I gotta get a drink anyway. So.
Oh, great. I was gonna say I have actually been looking at schemes from the Bone Reaper book for possible ideas and schemes for my new Necrons once they come out. So I was looking at Staliarch Lords. I'm looking right at them right now.
Petrifex Elite.
Well, I might I might literally just take my scheme for Bone Reapers. And it's not Petrifex specifically, but it's like my complete own. It's derived from it. It's a darker burgundy. There's no bone color in anything. There's no like white, light gray coloring. But I might take my own thing and then just put it on. But hit it with a primer of lead belcher beforehand so that it's more metallic. Maybe some edge highlights of metallic instead too for some living metal. I might do that. I might do actual null myriad, which let me see if this is gonna work. It's gonna be not focused because I'm zooming in. Oh, you know what? This is not gonna work.
Got to turn off the background if
not
you
at all.
any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. In null myriad, it's like the bone portion is all very black, like almost jet black with highlights. The weapons are hue going from light blue crackle down to a purple crackle from the base, like it's electric kind of on a black blade, and then purple eyes, purple energy, purple crystals, black tabard, and it's got this really cool, like the trim is like a very white, like you can tell they're using a contrast paint. You can tell that they're using like the lightest gray you can with a white primer, and then the actual like metal. The armor is a really cool hue of like obsidian green, which like I already have my own scheme for green, but like looks pretty cool. So who knows? I might do it, I might not.
You know what else AoS 40K can steal from AoS? Might as well keep that trend going.
Might as well. We've already been talking about it. It's really interesting to see that they're going to have a command phase, which isn't going to technically be fully the hero phase, but we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah, can't wait until they bring in turn initiative rules for 40K.
I mean, that wasn't that what happened last time. I think I was saying earlier is that when they came out with 8th edition in 40K, all the things that people love were things they had taken from AoS.
Yeah,
and it feels like that's what's about to happen again. I mean, at some point, you're just going to be playing AoS over there.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, no myriad.
No myriad. Sorry, it took me a minute to find it.
But
I actually, for what it's worth, Alex, the only Age of Sigmar thing I did in the last 2 weeks was I read all the fluff for the Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, our good friend Israel was just finished painting an amazing Bone Reaper commission, and was asking some questions about how they get their energy and power things, and he had made some guesses, and Alex is like, yeah, something like that. And you could tell that poor Israel was disappointed because he wanted to learn more about the fluff. So I felt it was incumbent upon me to then go read all the fluff and then share some with Israel to get him a little fired up about things.
Yeah. I was traveling. I was like, I don't have my iPad on me. I don't know. It's something.
Yeah, I figured you were busy or whatever. So, but it was interesting. So I went through and I read, like not word for word, but I read like every section, kind of skimmed through, Scop Jip, read some stories in there. It's good stuff.
Speaking of Israel, though, there might be something here related to Israel, kind of in the vicinity of Jeremy, isn't there? Isn't that right? You got something there? Got something there for us?
Oh yeah, but you can't focus like you can't.
Just make sure that it's like within you. There you go. Yeah, look at that.
All right.
Our good friend Israel did paint this gorgeous Go Trek.
Yeah, let me just put it on my background.
Oh yeah. Actually, last episode you had him as your background, but now you actually
we
have
should all just do it as a background.
Your person.
Right, we each pick a different picture from the photo shoot he did.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I just need unfortunately this is a brand new computer and none of those files are saved. So let's go find it. But I wanted to make a quick joke because that's what I'm only reason I'm on the show for is my humor.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna paint them in Null Myriad's color, which is the Archon's Legion and the Osiarch Bone Reapers, for Necrons, you should include Starscream because it just makes sense from Transformers. Archon is like Starscream.
Shit, he is Starscream. now I don't even want to do it. Now I don't even want to do this scheme. You just totally turned me off to a whole scheme.
Wow. He's
Billy is
Starscream.
Starscream.
Yeah.
Really? I thought he was actually cool, so he's not.
No,
Archon.
Archon is not cool. He's like Nagash. Yeah, he's
the only
yeah.
in Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar, the only person who's less cool than Archon is Manfred.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Am I lying? You're gonna sit here and tell me that I'm wrong? Like,
Yeah, I only know Manfred from that one Stormcast Eternal story.
or the End Times Archeon
Yeah, where he
stabs
just blows up the wall.
Balthazar Gelt in the back, and then Teclis evaporates while trying to hold back the tide of chaos, and then spoiler alert from 6 years ago, the world blows up.
Not this one.
Wait, what is this? 12 what? Whoa! What are we doing here?
There you go.
Do we need to edit that out?
No.
I'm so glad he was going through his screenshots. I'm guessing that would have been a problem.
It's a brand new computer. There is literally nothing on this.
If he had been to some certain adult sites ahead of time and saved certain images, we would have had to re-record.
Well, it's the image I sent
would
you
just
earlier today, Alex.
Blur it out when I do the post edit on the video. We'll be okay.
I posted up Israel's Catacross conversion for people to see.
Not a
It's-
conversion.
Oh, sorry, painting. Not conversion.
Oh, I
His
couldn't believe this.
commission.
Speaking of video, guys, I was watching a professional video from Zeiss earlier, and the title sequence they used some of the same elements that I used to create our title sequence. I'm like, what? They stole my title sequence.
Hey, you should talk to YouTube about getting them taken down.
Yeah, we could.
That was pretty funny. No, they went to the same source materials, obviously. It's different, but you could tell they use the same tools. I was like,
Yeah.
So please, if you play your Necrons, please do them in Starscream's voice.
I would hate that. I would.
Please.
No, I'm never gonna do that. I'm not using the scheme now. I can't. It's illegal. I'm not allowed to. However, I do want to talk a little bit about Garrett, your event that you were running. Of course, this is the COVID weekend tournament, round 2. Now it's round 2. That means there had to have been a round 1.
There was a round 1.
How did that work for you? What kind of show up was it? Because I see in this event that you had about 18 players. How many people came to the first one?
8. We had 8 people show up to the first one. It was it was the first attempt. I talked about it probably about a little over a month ago. I think it was an event I ran back in late April, I think.
yeah, which episode was that?
Yeah, that was many, many moons ago. I decided to run a tabletop simulator event, and I kind of just pulled random friends, and I was like, hey guys, let's try to get some people together and run a weekend event. I played in it myself. And so there were 7 others. Bill Sousa was in there. Greg was in there. And so we had 8 people for round 1. And then I was going to run round 2, but then Ben down in San Diego from Warp Rider Games, he decided to run his event, and I was helping him out with that. And so I decided to reschedule my event for a later date.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, the way I've been running my tabletop simulator tournaments is I've kind of just gone to the community and I said, hey guys, I'm here for you if you want me to run admin and help you guys run an event. I don't really treat it very seriously. I was like, there's no prize support. It's just an excuse to play a bunch of games of Age of Sigmar. I'll help organize who you play against. And that's the only attitude I take. So it's like when the event, so it kind of took a while to get, I wanted Ben to be able to run his. I didn't want to stomp on someone else's toes. And I was like, so I'm treating it very casually. I'm not really trying to take this very seriously because it's on Tabletop Simulator. You can't take it seriously. There's no, it's like, you can't run an event with a serious attitude on Tabletop Simulator because there's no refereeing. You can't have consistent tables. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So, but if everyone comes in with a positive attitude, as in this is just an excuse to play a bunch of games and have a good time with some bragging rights, it's great. And that's how both of my events turned out. Everyone had a blast. Everyone had a great time. A couple of hiccups in this last one, but overall, it still went great.
I see you implemented some of your, shall we say, draconian scoring and pairing theorems in this. So good thing you
this
kept
was-
it light and didn't charge people money when they had to suffer through that.
Yeah, because
This
we
was-
would revolt against it.
So, I mean, I didn't even make a pack for this. Like, I literally was just like, guys.
You made a
I'll
pack.
tell you how to.
You wrote eight lines worth of a description of your round. That's a pack.
Yeah, well, I originally didn't even have those. My original description was, hey, guys, I have a Discord server. If you need the link, email me. Like, that was the description of the event. Like, we'll run this event tentatively at some point. Here's my
I'm watching John slowly lose his mind at the lack of distinct organization for this event.
Like there is no organization. I actually had to change this description after round 1 began because I forgot to post the missions and realms.
I'm confused. Is this not a real event?
No,
not
not even close.
I'm now going to smash my face with my Warhammer. Just
No, I like this was literally I was helping people organize people who they should play against,
Garrett.
so they can get 5 games of Age of Sigmar in.
Gave them a medium.
Yeah, I just gave them a reason to play 5 games of Age of Sigmar. There was no stakes. Like I joked around with, I would actually remove even the placing metrics that literally you played 5 random people, not who you. There was no even like you played somebody that just won or lost. Like literally, let's fuck it. You play 5 random people. Like who cares? Like you're just playing 5 games. But I decided to keep the win-loss record, just to some semblance of who you should play.
You say that, but these people didn't take it like they're just playing 5 games. Because I'm looking at these lists, and no one should have to be like, "Hey, I'm playing 5 games of AoS. I'm just gonna chill. It's gonna be a chill week. It's gonna be a chill week of AoS."
Well, it also depends.
Are you kidding me?
You got to remember. You got to remember, Jeremy, that the people that of course, Garrett, you reached out to the community, which is wonderful.
But my community, I should say.
Gold star, but your community is also a very competitive community, and with that, it's specifically East Coast, but you had a good spread. I mean,
some West Coast people on there too.
Some West Coast people.
We had one guy from Malaysia. I think he was from Malaysia. He was either from Malaysia or Taiwan.
Malaysia?
Yeah.
A true international tournament?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. When I first put up the COVID round 2 tournament, I had this guy reach out to me, James Chan. He's like, "Hey, I'm from Malaysia. Can I play in this?" And I was like, "Well, most of us are going to be East Coast United States. So if you can work with our time zone issue, the tournament's going to be on our schedule.
My
you're
favorite
okay with that."
My favorite part.
He was like, I played a game versus him because he joined my Discord server, and I was like, I played a game versus him, and he's a great dude, and he's out. I think he's in Malaysia. I believe that's what it was, and he's just super chill dude. He's a super Skaven guy. He loves Skaven.
Oh wow, really? Oh yeah, sounds like a great dude to me.
Yeah. So he's just super energetic to play.
Well, he's also a new player, and it's really funny because he was trying to get TTS practice games in on the Discord that you have that you've been running these events, and it's really funny because I'm on the Pacific time zone, and maybe at around 11 or even at 11 p.m. or even at midnight, he'll hit up the Discord and be like, "Hey, who wants to get a game of TTS in?" And then an hour later, he'll be like, "Oh, oops, sorry, forgot time zone," and it's early afternoon for him, but for everyone else, it's 3 a.m.
So he also, this weekend, he played in a British tournament, which was 3 rounds in one day. So he played my 5-round tournament from Monday through Sunday, and then his 3-round tournament on Friday. And so, he was playing round 4 of my tournament after staying up for 27 hours. And
oh, man.
He played against Bill Souza, and then Bill's like, "Dude, James, go to sleep. Seriously, man, you've been up forever. Go the fuck to sleep."
That also reminds me. I mean, you mentioned Bill Souza, and you have a kind of heavy pedigree in terms of the players here. We're looking at Bill Souza. Of course, you got Greg Geode, both of Team America fame. You got our good friend of the podcast. You have Michael Burke. I'm seeing
Roger Barker, also from Team America.
Roger Barker, definitely. We got our good friend Frank Deloach, of course, he's a great guy from Southern California. So you got a lot of people who are, very competitive, moderately competitive. Michael Vag from formerly Team America as well, Wobbly Modeler. You got a lot of people here, so that's awesome. How did the placings end up, working out for you?
Well, the winner was Caleb Walters. He's a kind of like a local champion. He's this really interesting fellow because he lives out near Baltimore, Maryland, and he goes to Adepticon and Nova, and I think NashCon, and that's like it. But he basically wins wherever he goes. So he's actually a high caliber player. He just doesn't travel much, so not a lot of people have heard of him. But out here, people know him very well, and he's a very, very good player. Him and his brother Scooter. So it's Caleb Walters and Scooter Walters. They always play doubles together, and they at Adepticon and Nova, and they're a really cool group of guys, but they're also both really good players. And Caleb ended up getting the win. He beat Bill Souza round 5 for the win.
I appreciate that you're making that story, but I'm gonna point out to the fact he's playing a Tzeentch with Be'lakor and a Demon Rift. So he's disqualified from any of those comments.
He has been playing Tzeentch for a while. He has been playing Tzeentch since Skyfire Spam.
Okay. Yeah. I've been playing it forever. I'm not chasing the big OP. This is what I've always played. I played them when they sucked. Fuck off.
For context to the audience, it's a Chaos Lord on a Manticore, a Chaos Sorcerer Lord on Manticore, Chaos Great Weaver, Changecaster, Herald of Tzeentch, the Blue Scribes, Be'lakor, and then 6 Skyfires, 300 points of Acolytes, and nothing but endless spells, which really, the endless spells don't really matter that much. It's just that there's a Demon Rift in there, so your point is meaningless.
Regardless, he is still a very good player.
I believe you.
Oh, fuck you, Jeremy.
I don't think you can see it from his from his glasses and where they're at, but yeah, he's winking heavily, everyone.
Looking at the final places. Talking about my format, what I did was, if you won, you got 1 point, whether it was a minor win or a major win. If you lost, you got 0 points. Just because I didn't want to fuck around with a lot of secondaries or any of those things. I was just like, guys, let's just play games. And if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose.
He just gets up and walks away.
Like that. So, and then I just use strength of schedule and extended strength of schedule to differentiate placings. So, Caleb was the only person who's 5-0 with the win, and then Greg had the best strength of schedule of the people with 4, and then
can we take a
Jai won.
Yeah, real quick. Let's
hold on a second here. Let's talk about Greg's list.
Oh, okay.
Yes, let's talk about Greg Gode's list.
Well, just real quick,
Goaty.
It would go to Geode. I can never tell.
It's not Geode if you look at it. It's Goaty. He was literally interviewed on our show and explained how to say his name.
But just real quick, to run through the top 5, we had Caleb at number 1, Greg at number 2, Jaiwan at number 4. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Bill at for 4th place, Jaiwan's 3rd place, and then Mike Vaginos at 5th place. And Mike Vaginos was the top player who had 3 wins. Everyone else had 4 wins.
So this is a podcast about competitive AoS. Yeah. And the preface of this event was that, hey, it's just a chill. And what we just heard is 5-player top. It's like, yeah, none of those guys are here to chill, man. They okay, let's go back to Greg Geode's list for a second. It's Gode?
Yeah,
Greg
Goaty.
Goaty. Geode, got it. All right, so
You're gonna Geode. Right. So
love you, Greg. I'm gonna keep
yo, dude.
Let's see. So Greg is basically, you know what? I really like my Skaven list. It's got storm feeds, it's got teleportations, it's got shooting, it's got plague monks. You know what I really want to do? I want to take that list and put it into lizard people. So that's the list.
Same difference.
It's the same list.
Hashtag lizard truth.
It is. Oh my gosh, it so is.
It's an engine of the god. Lord Croak, Skin Star Priest, Skinks Priest, 30 Skinks for battle lines, because who doesn't like to fulfill a requirement of only 180 points? And then 12 Salamander Hunting Pack, 3 Bastillodons with Solar Engines, and the Thunderquake Temple Host. And this is, he calls it Thunder Lizards, but I really just call it Thunder Size, because that's a lot of meat.
They real thick. They real thick.
It's So yeah, he basically just he took his like same list concept from Skaven and just like, I can make them lizard people. So he did. For those who don't know anything about like this kind of list, 12 salamander hunting pack are basically like mortal wound output of what, let's say on average it's
like 8 mortal wounds
20?
or something?
No, it's like more than that. It's more than that.
It's 12 shots at 3s and 3s with 6s to hit, doing D3 mortal wounds instead of normal damage.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they
it's not 20 mortal wounds.
They reroll. I think the temple host lets them reroll to hit or something. I forgot. Like it's
right. They're part of the temple host, aren't they?
Yeah, they're part of the temple
are.
host.
And the temple host is them
right,
and Philodons, right?
The Thunderquake temple host, and I believe it lets them reroll to hit or something.
Does it? Thunderquake.
It's the skinks. I forgot. There's one of the things that lets them like basically trigger.
Thunder Lizard is Coalesce, correct?
No, he's not playing Coalesce. He's playing Coalesce, not Starborn.
Yeah.
No, he can run and shoot. He can't reroll to hit. He can run and shoot. So he's doing like maybe 8 mortal wounds per shot or something like that.
Yeah.
For 240 points.
They're ridiculous.
Not counting the other damage.
Yeah, like not counting the fact that it's 12 shots at 3s and 3s, Ren 2, D3 damage. Ignoring that, it's just 8 mortal wounds.
I mean, if they can run and shoot, and if you do the auto 6 to run, I mean, they have a 8-inch move already with a 12-inch range. So you're looking at a
26-inch range. No, 26.
That's pretty good. That's very good.
And then backed up by 3 Bastiladons
that can run and shoot as well.
Can run and shoot and have phenomenal.
Who have a what is it? Like they have like an 5-inch move with a 24-inch range plus a 6-inch run. So you're looking at like a 34-inch threat range or something like that.
I will say though.
Shots or 3d6 shots? Are they 2d6 or 3d6?
9 shots.
9 shots. Okay.
Yeah, with 3 of them, there's enough to do some serious damage.
They're flat number now.
They're flat 9 now, yeah. And then like I think the Thunder Lizards lets you use a command point to have them shoot in the hero phase or something, or shoot again.
I haven't been able
the temple host?
Yeah. I haven't been able to play against New Seraphon at all. And maybe
it's actually terrifying. You
can
get a skink blob that does mortal wounds like crazy against you, or you can just get salamanders that just blow you off the board and then charge you and blow you off the board. Like salamanders are fucking ridiculous. Yes. But anyways,
you say that, and yet like Tzeentch exists. So
no, I'm sorry, I actually don't give a shit about Tzeentch, but fucking salamanders just murder you.
Okay. The problem is everyone and their brother has an old Seraphon army. Ugh. Plus, some of the strongest players in my area were already playing Seraphon.
I forgot salamander hunting.
Well, now they just have to get salamanders is the problem.
I totally forgot about the Jaws being 3 attacks, 3/3, 2 Ren D.
Yeah, it just enjoy your chapter approved, boyos.
Yeah, right.
So
salamanders jump up to a shit ton of points.
So more importantly than Greg Godey playing his Skaven/Seraphon, I'm looking at Jiwan Singh, who took 3rd place with his illegal list.
Woo-hoo-hoo! How's it illegal?
And let's see if you can spot the illegalness of this list.
Okay. I am looking.
Oh, wait, he has Chaos Marauders as allies? They must be mercenaries.
They're mercenaries.
Oh, mercenary. Oh, you allowed mercenaries?
Yeah, I mean,
isn't that from narrative?
You're like the one guy who allowed mercenaries. Look at you.
He didn't have a packet.
One more thing.
In his defense, he didn't have a packet.
I didn't have a packet, so there's like no rules. I mean,
I apologize, G1, my fellow Skaven brother. Since you were playing in a janky tournament with a janky TO, I suppose what would normally be a completely cheaty and illegal list is actually acceptable in this case.
Well, I just realized, Garrett, I could have showed up to this tournament with like 6,000 points. It's not illegal.
True. I did not define it as a 2,000-point list. I guess that is true.
Yeah, but did you declare the game size? Did you declare the game size?
No, I didn't declare shit.
Everyone
there was no packet.
Everyone see if they zoom in, they'll be able to see like the vein and in John's like forehead just get bigger and bigger. And
there was one rule.
I got a big glass. It might not be filled with iced tea next time. That's all I'm saying.
So, John, there was one rule. It was not declared in the packet. It was declared in my Discord server where if I have to be called in as a TO, one or both of you are being disqualified from the tournament.
Ooh.
It's like if someone is basically not taking this tournament at good faith, you're kicked out.
Which is
Like
phenomenal.
that's the one rule of the tournament.
Phenomenal approach to basically saying, "Hey guys, I'm just this scoring system like this is just a pairing mechanism. This is not at all a scoring system."
Oh yeah, God no! It was like well, I actually disagree with that, but that's a whole nother discussion.
Hey, you know, I
It's
got
not that. It's if I showed up to 6,000 points and they called you and I'm like, well, disqualify that guy. He's obviously the one who called you.
Yeah, and if you're like, well, I see where the good faith argument's going. Jeremy, you're out. The other guy gets an automatic. I know how to TO.
Here's the problem is
showed up.
if Jeremy showed up with 6,000 points, I would just drop my list 3 times.
There you go. There you go.
Simulator, copy paste, right? I think I actually had an instance where 2 guys like they had a time conflict, and they're like, well, I won the initiative for to go first, so I win. And I was like, you know what, guys, fuck it. If you guys want to decide your game that way, I'm okay with it.
what?
Like they literally, like they didn't play. They just rolled off, and whoever won. And I was like, sure, why not? The one that dropped.
Qualified from all future TOing events of major events.
You know what else I hate?
You're writing the pairing app, and that's it.
Well,
I mean, I ran an event over 7 days. Like, what do you want from me?
You didn't. You didn't run an event. You put 8 lines of description, and you're like, if you call me, you lose.
I gotta say,
So if you need a TO for your next event,
If you want to put in the time and energy to actually referee these people, John, I'll call you in.
oh, I don't need to
It's not
referee
even about
anyone.
refereeing them. It's just like it's literally yes, I am a TO. It's like the equivalent of saying, yes, I am a professional painter because I have a brush.
You know, I'm looking at this event, and Death Armies did not do all well. But you know, I know that Burke listens. Our good friend Michael. He's got to remember. You know, he did the best out of 3 Bone Reaper players, but he fails to get off of his goddamn fucking.
Well, the only Death Army
bandwagon.
Does he have the fewest number of crawlers of all the people? Is that why he was the
No, there's
highest
actually
OCR?
one guy who brought 0 crawlers and 2 that brought 2, and he brought 2, and he went 2 and 3.
So he did the best out of OCR players, indicating that crawlers are the way to go if you want to at least have a chance with OCR.
Yeah. Well,
The
if you want to go 2 and 3, you'll bring.
Yes.
But no one did better with less.
I see that your master's in science is designed that you should be very selective of the data you collect.
Yeah. Well, like I've said
It's almost
before,
like there's a
I
stats
also
page that looks
analyze
this
and
up.
manipulate data, but I do it for a very different goal than you do. So I know the evil side of manipulating data.
Yeah, you just literally selected the result you wanted versus the data.
But it's about being able to talk about the selected results in a rational way that people buy them. It's not the data, it's how you sell the data.
Yes, data is a commodity.
So, Garrett, when is your next event? Is there going to be a COVID round 3?
Yeah, I've actually been talking to people. I've been discussing about running a 1-day 3-round tournament. Gotten some pushback on that. People like the 1 round per day because it enables people to stream their games and have other people in the tournament watch them. People with busy schedules be able to play them over 3 days. So I might switch. I'm kind of just, polling the community of like, when should I run it and what do you guys want? So I'm not, this next weekend is my wife's 30th birthday, so I will not be running a tournament then.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wait, does that mean you're almost 32?
Yes, I am turning 29 this July.
Oh my gosh.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wow, I've known you since you were a little boy.
I know.
You're 29? Jesus, what happened?
I'm not yet 29.
Well, in
Jeremy.
this current climate, a week is basically 3 years. So like,
Yeah, right? So I'm like 60 at this point.
Can I ask you, can you do me a favor and not call it COVID-19 event? Can you call it, this is not a tournament event?
Sure. You know what, Jeremy? I'll call it, this is not a tournament event.
It should be
just
called,
for you.
It should be called there's no description, there's no nothing going on, none of the rules matter anymore. free for all.
None of the rules matter.
By
The
Garrett
points
Mulroney.
don't matter. What's the whose line is it anyway?
We should call it the nihilistic tournament.
Yeah, not the
I was
nihilist.
thinking the opposite, where you call it the COVID tournament, and in future years, 5-10 years from now, the name will be ironic. You know, people won't even remember, like, what's this COVID? You'll be like, oh, that's the central outside,
Virginia.
very interesting demographic tournament.
Digital tournament.
Huh?
Digital.
Yes,
You can make
digital.
it-
Oh, there we
You
go.
can make it an all internal Virginia players thing and call it the Conflagration of Virginians tournament.
Not only
In DC.
not only is this tournament does not include any physical model, it also does not include any physical packet, any physical TO, any really just any physical
Or digital
like,
TO, quite frankly. And if you have to talk to the TO, he's just gonna kick you out of the tournament. Fuck it.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's pretty hard.
Fuck you.
That's the only thing that I actually approve of that I've heard of so far.
That's the most
Like, I
2020.
super approve
It's-
of the hardcore. Like, you jackasses can't keep the above table gameplay straight in Tabletop Simulator in a zero meaning tournament. You're just booted. You're just out of here. Like, yes,
it's like
that I approve of. The rest, what the hell?
All right, John. You know what?
Oh,
I've invited you to my. I've published my tournaments. You know, you can TO my next one. You can co-TO, super TO, whatever.
TO his own damn tournament.
Yeah, John. Why don't you run a tournament?
No, I'm going to let Garrett run the tournament. I will contribute by maybe writing a packet and
Okay.
making myself available via chat, perhaps even in the Discord server,
Oh, man,
to answer
so fucking
questions
salty.
without
Oh,
having
I
to
love
go
it.
into the actual game. And then I could sit at home where I've accessed all the reference materials and accurately look things up for people. So that's what I would envision a TO activity being, which I will be happy to assist, because I'm a big guy of, you don't just give people shit unless you're willing to go in there and scoop the shit off their ass for them, right? Or
But
that didn't
anyways,
come out
as
right,
to-
but you know what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
needs some work. That phrasing needs some work.
I
by
think
the
you guys
way.
just need to fight. Just fight. Just like physically fight here.
Oh, right. Garrett and I fighting.
Maybe you should settle in a TTS game.
Ooh.
Like, did you ever see The Simpsons where they just start doing this and walking at each other, Lisa
Yeah,
and Bart?
yeah.
That's what that would be,
Honestly-
Garrett and I.
Honestly, I think you're right, Jeremy. I think that they need to duke it out in
Definitely not
TTS.
Which one will be the superior rounding mechanic or whatever?
Steven or Sylvana?
Yeah. I
We
just-
already
I
know
just
how that
wanna-
game goes.
I want to
Yeah.
sign up to this event not because I'm going to play in it, but so I can get disqualified by Garrett, because the first question I'm going to ping him is like, how many points are we buying?
So Jeremy's gonna have a list of like 12 war mammoths, and they're gonna take up his entire deployment zone and be like, "What? What's wrong?"
But Garrett, what do I do when I have like 30 Scourge runners and I can't deploy like half of them because I'm out of deployment space?
You're
Oh, that's a real
disqualified.
thing.
That's what you are.
Joking aside, when Paul and I played, we played Battle for the Past 2019, right? The two
Yeah.
triangles.
Yep.
And I was barely able to fit my Nurgle army in the deployment zone. It was,
Really?
yeah.
What you do is you put a giant building in the middle of that deployment zone and fuck anybody who wants to try to like.
That was part of the problem, is the terrain we picked had a big old piece that we couldn't deal with. And I'm like, I've got 100 plague bearers here.
But yeah, anyways, as to when my next tournament is, so not this weekend, maybe next weekend, probably not. Maybe 2 weeks from now. Like, honestly, like I just keep asking people when they want an event to be run, and I'll run it. Like,
I'm start gathering folks together.
Oh,
Sounds good.
yeah.
Run it.
Yeah, I will hit the button that says next pairings. Let's just say that. That's what I will do. I will hit the button, and I will provide a link to sign up.
I'll go ahead and create a packet randomly this weekend, and maybe it would apply to a digital tournament, and maybe I'll just put it somewhere where there's a link you could share if you wanted. You could even put it in the thing. I'll just do that. It's something I was planning to do anyways. I'll just do that this weekend.
Oh boy. Well, hypothetically, we would be able to advertise this event in Best Coast Pairings, and allegedly there would be
You know
some
what?
link or sign up system there.
You know, how about I just create it right now?
Ooh.
The only rule I want you to make, John, is that every army needs to be a disciple of Tzeentch with a demon fire vortex, a demon fire portal. Because this is a chill event, and those are chill armies.
I think
yes, but can you imagine how long it would take to play against me if I played a Tzeentch army? The game would just never end.
Because apparently, you playing Skaven with smoking some bowls takes 7 hours on the TTS. I'm assuming 48 hours.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a full 2 goddamn days. You know, knowing that John will create the packet, I know that there's gonna be like a paint rubric. Somehow there's a paint rubric.
If you don't have 3D models on TTS, point.
No paper models.
No paper models.
I'll have some fun with that.
Yeah.
Well, bases must be based.
So, this event should be coming up pretty soon, though. So if any of our listeners do want to take a look, apparently it'll be coming out in a few weeks. But again, apparently it will. Apparently it won't. Allegedly, it might not even happen. Who knows?
All right, event has been created.
Oh!
Whoa! Power!
Yeah. What
Power!
are the dates?
Right there!
What are the dates?
I set it up for June 12th, but that is a tentative schedule that can be changed at any time. Tickets are online now. I can provide a link if you want. So there's 20 tickets available.
You see the link going across the screen right now?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Go ahead and click the live link as it goes across to go right to Best Coast Pairings ticketing.
Okay, and how many event slots are you going to have?
How many event slots? Or
like how many players can sign up to this event?
I mean, it's right now set to 20. I'll probably set it up to like 32. Like, I don't know if I want to manage more than 32 players.
Go for a major. How much managing is there?
Yeah, right? Like, maybe I'll go to 64. Fuck it. Like, let's go for broke.
Sky's the limit, baby.
Yeah.
So then,
AoS tournament ever. Let's set a record.
There you go. So we were
1,000 players. Let's do this.
I would hate that so much. We're not going to do 1,000 players. That's awful. It's a horrible idea.
Why? Like, you only play against one person a day. So
we just do 3 rounds with 1,000 players. It would still only be 2 games.
There are jokes that I will not. No, it's fine. It's fine.
There would be so many undefeated in that tournament. I love it. There's nothing like an ego boost and saying, "Yeah, I was undefeated in a 1,000-player tournament."
And we could do binary scoring, right? You either get a 0 or a 1.
Yeah, you just get 0 or 1. So strength of schedule after that point.
Is it like 333 players will be undefeated?
How many people tied for first?
Yeah, I was first loser. That's still like 666 people.
No. So you can only get 1 point.
And I was 600th place.
You can only get 1 point, a 0 or 1 for the game, but you can lose up to 6 points for sportsmanship.
That sounds like a good idea.
And 10 points to paint. You got to make sure you got the right 3D models on your TTS list.
That's one trophy I've never received, John, and that's the wooden spoon, and I think maybe this is the event for me.
There you go.
You get DQ'd right out the gate. Wooden spoon!
So if you want to see Jeremy get the wooden spoon, you want to make sure that you can see him earn that wooden spoon, do sign up, and it's going to be on Best Coast Pairings. It's going to be tentative June 12th event. And if you like this podcast, do feel free to give us a like, a subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts, the Frontline Gaming Roll, and Podbean, and pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, you can always hit us up on Facebook, and we'll be pretty tentative to, hear your feedback, or if there's anything you want to see, let us know. Otherwise, this is going to be Alex, John, Garrett, and Jeremy signing off for the night.
Night, everyone. Have a great week.
Okay, perfect. A little messy in the end, but wonderful.
This entire episode was messy. It was great.
It was very messy.
Great.
But it's fun.
It was like sloppy seconds.
Yeah, but I only had 10 which
not bad.
11.
Yeah. And then you got a big giant one.